पे है, चाहे आप कुछ भी सेल करना चाह रहे हैं, सर्विस या प्रोडक्ट, और उसको प्रमोट करने के लिए हर कोई बहुत कोशिश करता है। और कोई डिजिटल मार्केटिंग किसी एजेंसी से काम कर रहा है, तो कोई खुद वो स्किल ऑनलाइन सीख रहा है, और कोई जाके किसी बड़े से मदद लेता है। बड़े से मुराद है कि सिर्फ उम्र में या तजुर्बे में बड़ा नहीं, कोई किसी कंपनी में जाके कहते हैं यार आप लोग ये कैसे करते हैं मैनेज, हमें भी सिखा दें। और कुछ लोग हैं जो इससे कमाते भी बहुत हैं थ्रू एड्स। और हमने देखा कि हर एक को, रिगार्डलेस कि वो डिजिटल नेटिव है, वो ट्रेडिशनल बिजनेस है, उनका कारोबार चमड़े का है, फर्नीचर का है, या वो सॉफ्टवेयर हाउस है, और वो भी तो ऑनलाइन पैसा खर्च करते हैं लीड्स के लिए, डिमांड जनरेशन के लिए, ब्रांड्स पैसा लगा रहे हैं। आप अपना कोई नया ब्रांड बना रहे हैं, तो पाकिस्तान में इतना स्कोप है, लेकिन हम कैसे वहां तक पहुंचे और कैसे उनको बताएं कि ये जो पहला कदम है ये आसान है, इतना मुश्किल नहीं है जो अमूमन आपको मुश्किल लगता है। और फिर बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो पहला कदम ले चुके हैं, वो ऑनलाइन खर्च भी कर रहे हैं, वो बहुत सारे मुख्तलिफ एड नेटवर्क्स पे, प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे पैसे लगा रहे हैं, गूगल के अलावा भी वो एड नेटवर्क्स को इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उन्हें ये नहीं पता कि क्या पोटेंशियल है गूगल में एज अ मैनेज्ड अकाउंट बनने की। ठीक है, हर कोई चाहता है कि मुझे कोई गूगल से राब्ता हो जाए जिसमें कोई मैनेज करे। तो फिर जो एनडीएस टीम है जो यहाँ पे मौजूद है, इनके साथ, इनका काम है इस टीम का उन लोगों के साथ काम करना जो बिल्कुल एक नया बिजनेस है, जो अभी ग्रो कर रहा है, और वो स्पेंड कर रहे हैं गूगल के ऊपर एड्स पे और यूजर एक्वायर करने के लिए, या एडमॉड टीम पे वो उनसे बात करना चाहते हैं कि वो आप पैसे कमा रहे हैं एड दिखा के अपने प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे, अपनी इन्वेंट्रीज पे। तो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस क्या है, कैसे इसको ग्रो करना है, क्या है जो नहीं करना है कि फिर स्ट्राइक आ जाए या क्वालिटी का कोई चैलेंज आ जाए या पॉलिसी का। तो हमने देखा कि बहुत सारे लोगों को अवेयरनेस नहीं है। खैर, ये बैकग्राउंड है, जिसके बाद हमने एक इवेंट किया लास्ट ईयर पाकिस्तान में, जिसका नाम था गूगल पहला कदम बूट कैंप। उस पे हमें बहुत अच्छी सक्सेस मिली, बहुत सारे लोगों ने रजिस्टर किया, लेकिन फिर शिकायत ये थी कि सब लोग लाहौर नहीं आ सकते। और ये इन पर्सन था, टीम पाकिस्तान आई हुई थी, और हमने सबसे आपसे मिले, जिनसे मुलाकात हुई, बहुत से नहीं हुई, और हमें मैसेजेस आए कि कोई हुंजा में है, रिजॉर्ट चला रहा है और इंटरेस्टेड है गूगल एड्स के बारे में जानने के लिए, कोई कराची में है, कोई हैदराबाद में है, गुजरात में है। कुछ लोग आए लेकिन बहुत सारे नहीं। तो हमने कहा कि लेट्स डू अनदर वन, ऑब्वियसली एक काफी नहीं है, और ऑनलाइन करें। लेकिन अब ये डिसाइड किया कि इसको रिकरिंग रखेंगे, इंशाल्लाह कोशिश करेंगे कि साल में एटलीस्ट 2 बार तो इस तरह के सेशंस हो, इफ नॉट मोर। और मुख्तलिफ गूगल की टीम्स को भी इसमें लाया जाए। ये भी आपसे हमें फीडबैक आया कि आप लोग ज्यादा जानना चाहते हैं गूगल प्ले के बारे में, आप लोग जानना चाहते हैं एडमॉब के बारे में। जब हम वहां गए तो क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर्स का जो सेशन था वो हमारे सेशन से भी लंबा चला गया। तो इसका मतलब है कि स्कोप बहुत है, हमें बातचीत ज्यादा करनी चाहिए, आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन जो हम दे सकते हैं वो दें ऑनलाइन। या साउथ इसीलिए हंस रहा है क्योंकि इसी को सबने 1.5 घंटे के लिए घेरा हुआ था, सवाल जवाब से ज्यादातर इसको घेरा हुआ था, बाकी सबका भी टाइम लिया गया। ये बैकग्राउंड है जी, कि ये क्यों किया। अब हमने इसका नाम समिट का है गेमिंग एंड ऐप, लेकिन नॉट नेसेसरीली सिर्फ गेम्स पे फोकस है। ऐप से मुराद टूल्स एंड यूटिलिटीज की भी ऐप हो सकती है, आप किसी का, आपका ताल्लुक किसी बैंक से हो सकता है। बाय द वे, कुछ अगर इस वक्त फिनटेक से रिलेटेड लोग ऑनलाइन हैं या बैंक से, तो कोई इमोजी दें, थम्स अप दें, ताकि पता चले कि देयर आर पीपल फ्रॉम फिनटेक हियर एज वेल। ऑलराइट, मुझे तो बहुत लोगों ने राब्ता किया था कि फिनटेक के हवाले से भी वो इंटरेस्टेड हैं कि हम अपनी ऐप को कैसे ग्रो करें। तो 2-3 चीजें, कुछ पाकिस्तान की ऑडियंस को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, और कुछ ज्यादातर लोग एक्सपोर्ट है, मतलब द होल वर्ल्ड इज द ऑडियंस। सो दिस समिट टुडे इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड आई वेलकम यू टू दिस वन, बिकॉज आज का फोकस है एक बहुत बड़ा की मोमेंट जो ग्लोबल है, और हम एज ए मुसलमान, हमारे लिए बहुत मुकद्दस है ये महीना रमजान का। और ग्लोबल मोमेंट इसलिए कि यार, हाउ डू यू कैच दिस मोमेंट एज एन एडवर्टाइजर, राइट, एज अ बिजनेस, and what are the sentiments that you need to be more careful about or be aware of? क्या ट्रेंड्स हैं, क्या पीक मोमेंट्स हैं जिनको आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा इनकैश कर सकते हैं मुख्तलिफ ममालिक में। तो आज टीम ने आपके लिए एक सारी जो इंसाइट्स हैं वो कंपाइल की हैं, और सबसे अच्छी चीज ये है कि आज ये एक ट्राइफेक्टा है, इट्स लाइक अ ट्राइडेंट एट हेयर। गूगल प्ले, गूगल एड्स एंड एडमॉब जो सेल साइड है, तीनों से लोग मौजूद हैं जो आपको मुख्तलिफ इंसाइट्स देंगे, बातें बताएंगे, और फिर एंड में Q&A सेशन भी है. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone who made this possible. From the Google side, I'm very thankful to the NBS team, for Bruce, Trin, for everybody who joined. Also for Jack, for Saud, and also Faraz and all the sell side team and everybody from Play, जिन्होंने इसमें हेल्प की मार्केटिंग. बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली आप लोग, और आप जितना इंगेज करेंगे उतना फायदा होगा. सो क्विकली मैं थोड़ा सा ओवरव्यू देना चाहता हूं, आपको बोर नहीं करूंगा बिटवीन द एक्चुअल कंटेंट दैट इज वेटिंग, दैट यू आर हियर फॉर एंड दिस. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन वेरी क्विकली. ऑलराइट, सो ये वो कुछ हाइलाइट्स हैं जो हमने लास्ट ईयर किया. हमारा सालाना एक इवेंट होता है गूगल का, फ्लैगशिप इवेंट पाकिस्तान में, थिंक एप्स के नाम से, जो आप तस्वीर देख रहे हैं जिसपे बहुत सारे लोग आए. और उस दौरान ही हमने सोचा कि अगर हम थिंक एप्स के लिए पाकिस्तान इतनी बड़ी टीम जा रही है तो व्हाई नॉट डू दिस इवेंट, एंड दैट्स द हाईलाइट फ्रॉम द पहला कदम इवेंट. जो रमजान के हवाले से दो किस्म की अफादियत है. एक तो वो अफादियत है जो रिलीजियस है, वो मैं उस पर आज नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ, वो I'm sure सबको पता होगा. लेकिन इसकी जो अफादियत है एज अ बिजनेस, कितने लोग इस वक्त अपनी ब्रांड्स को ऑप्टिमाइज कर रहे हैं, अपनी परफॉर्मेंस ब्रांड को. टाइम अभी है बिफोर रमजान स्टार्ट्स कि आप अपनी वो कैंपेन्स लॉन्च करें. तो हमने सोचा कि आज ज्यादा फोकस हम उस पर करेंगे. तो तकरीबन 2 अरब से ज्यादा लोग ग्लोबली रमजान ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, राइट. अगर देखा जाए तो ये दुनिया की 1/4 पॉपुलेशन है. और जो सबसे बड़ी मार्केट्स हैं जिनमें रमजान के हवाले से भी हम इंसाइट्स देंगे, उनमें है मीना, मिडिल ईस्ट, नॉर्थ अफ्रीका. आप देख सकते हैं ऑलमोस्ट 460 मिलियन पीपल ओवर देयर. उसके बाद इंडोनेशिया, और बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं वो ज्यादातर फार ईस्ट को नहीं, वो मिडिल ईस्ट या टीयर 1 मार्केट्स को टारगेट कर रहे होते हैं. फिर आपके साथ इंडिया है जहाँ पे बहुत कुछ बहुत जल्दी इवॉल्व हुआ है, कंज्यूमर इनसाइट्स बहुत डिफरेंट है, आप परचेसिंग पावर बहुत डिफरेंट है. सो वी नीड टू बी कॉग्निजेंट. देन ऑब्वियसली यूके, जर्मनी, फ्रांस, टर्की आर देयर. दीज आर द टॉप पॉइंट्स. ये मैंने क्यों बताया? 14 अरब डॉलर से ज्यादा की वर्थ है IAP रेवेन्यू में, इन ऐप परचेज रेवेन्यू. मतलब ये वो लोग हैं जिनकी पोटेंशियल है टू गो एंड स्पेंड. चाहे आपकी कोई कैलोरी ट्रैकर ऐप है, या आपकी रमजान के हवाले से कोई रिलीजियस ऐप है, क्या कहते हैं, आप कोई जिक्र या अज़कार की ऐप बनाई है आपने, या कोई और उस पर आप चाह रहे हैं कि लोग पे करें, कोई PDF रीडर है, कुछ भी है, और एंड यू आर लुकिंग फॉर दैट यूजर्स, तो ये उनकी पोटेंशियल है 14 बिलियन डॉलर. दिस इज फ्रॉम 2025 विद ऑलमोस्ट 48 बिलियन डाउनलोड्स. तो ये तकरीबन 40% बनती है पूरी दुनिया की डाउनलोड्स का. विच मीन्स ये अब जो मैंने बोला ना कि 1/4 ऑफ द मुस्लिम पॉपुलेशन ऑब्जर्व्स, तो उससे तो ज्यादा यहाँ पे डाउनलोड्स हैं उनकी. एंड ग्लोबल जो IAP रेवेन्यू है ये तकरीबन उसका 15% है. सो दैट इज द साइज ऑफ दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी that we are here to talk about. We all know 4 जो महीने हैं उसमें अगर आपने आइडियल इसका ऑप्टिमम बेनिफिट लेना है तो 2 हफ्ते पहले अपनी कैंपेन्स को लॉन्च करना है, ताकि वो प्राइम हो. द इंजन्स हैव लर्न्ड, यू हैव इनफ डेटा, इनफ सिग्नल्स कमिंग इन to start making the most out of it when the Ramadan month starts, actually from 17th of Feb, inshallah. And towards the end, everything, itna bada moment aap dekhna for a whole month. And the timings and everything, different countries, I'll tell you about that. So this is the time frame, we are all aware of it. और हर मुल्क में या हर रीजन में कुछ कल्चरल नॉर्म्स होती हैं. तो मीना का जो नॉर्म है वो ये है कि जो प्रोडक्टिविटी है वो तो तकरीबन सेम है. मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ इसमें मीना की, लेकिन एक्टिविटी लेवल आप अगर देखें तो कितना बढ़ गया है. सो आप देखिए कि अगर आप रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स जो सर्वे किया गया, ये इसमें जॉर्डन, कुवैत, मोरक्को और मुख्तलिफ और ममालिक शामिल हैं, UAE भी मीना से. तो तकरीबन 3000 रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स का जो सर्वे है उसमें ये क्या रिजल्ट है कि द एक्टिविटी लेवल हैज रिजन, एक्सक्यूज मी, राइट. जो ब्लू है ना, ब्लू ग्राफ, दैट इज द इंक्रीज. इसमें जो ब्लू बार देख रहे हैं आप इस चार्ट में, और प्रोडक्टिविटी ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही रहती है. और अगर आप देखें तो स्लीप टाइम भी चेंज हुआ. तो हम ये क्यों टारगेट कर रहे हैं? यही वो रमजान इफेक्ट है कि वर्किंग आवर्स अगर कम है लेकिन ज्यादा वक्त लोग ऑनलाइन गुजार रहे हैं. दिस मीन्स कि अब मीडिया हैबिट्स में भी एक शिफ्ट आया. सो आज जो स्पीकर्स हैं वो आपसे इसी के हवाले से बात करेंगे. वी हैव जैक हु विल आल्सो टॉक टू यू अबाउट सम वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग्स जो आप अक्सर हमसे कहते हैं पॉलिसी के हवाले से, तो आज जान लें, सवाल भी करें इनसे. ट्रस्ट एंड सेफ्टी टीम से ताल्लुक है इनका. साउथ पाकिस्तानी है, यहाँ मौजूद हैं. साउथ से मैं कहूँगा कि वो भी अपना कैमरा ऑन करके ज़रा दिखा दें, हेलो कर लें. जो कि मोनेटाइजेशन टीम में है, जिसको बेसिकली आप एडमॉब कह लें या हम इंटरनली सेल साइड कहते हैं. साउथ ईस्ट एशिया को देखते हैं, पाकिस्तान की मार्केट को भी देखते हैं. एंड देन आई हैव विद मी ट्रिन, who has been a very, very strong advocate for Pakistan, has been working very hard for this. She's the app growth manager, part of the NBS team, looking after the growth of this market as well. So I hand it over to it's Jack, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack, you will be presenting first. So thank you once again, everyone who has joined. And I would urge you to please listen in carefully, ask questions. We'll have a Q&A session towards the end. And I hope that this one is very productive for you and for your business and and the growth of the business. All the best. Over to you, Jack.
Thanks, Wasia. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay. All good. Hi, everyone. My name is Jack. I'm a regional operation manager. I lead the trust and safety Google Play initiatives for Vietnam and Pakistan. Really happy to be here with you today to talk about, some of the, pain points about play policy. I believe that there's a lot of, good stories that we can talk about, and I hope that we can bring more insights so that we can help you with your apps and games, especially during this special period of Ramadan, right? Now let me just go through a very quick rundown of the agenda for us today. So firstly, I would love to provide kind of like an overview of some of the most frequently seen policy violations for developers in Pakistan, as well as some general guidelines on how to navigate around these issues. I will also be talking about the high-risk developer account ban. I believe that a lot of the developers in Pakistan face this issue, and because we don't really understand what is the definition of a high-risk developer account ban. I'd love to provide some more insight on that today so that we can shed some highlight on that too. Last but not least, I'll be sharing some of the helpful resources and some key dates for the upcoming year. I hope that this will be helpful for you to plan for your releases in this year. So yeah, let's just go ahead with the first agenda item. Now, when it comes to play policy, I think we can, within the room and everyone else, we can all agree that there are a lot of policies. Okay. Like due to the time limit, I don't think that I'll be able to go through every single one of them and share with you all. So instead of that, I would just walk you through some of the more common ones that I've seen in Pakistan. Now, if we take a step back and look at the whole overall picture over here, there's actually kind of like reverse triangle situation over here. At the top, you can see that there is a few number of like common reasons for an app's getting receive a warning or receive kind of like some rejections, and these are probably due to some minor violations. But the thing that we need to pay more attention is that like any combination of any warnings or rejections would actually have a possibility to lead your apps into kind of like an app removal or suspension. So we really need to dig deeper into that and see how we can resolve these issues. Now, an app can also be suspended if a violation is egregious. And of course, the account can also be banned as well if there are many apps within the same accounts got suspended. So let's just go through this pyramid step by step together so that we can have a better understanding of what is actually going on here in terms of all of the play policy violations. Now, when we look at some of the common policy violations leading to app rejections, there are quite a few number of them. I will go through with you each and every single one of them. But at a glance, we see that there's a lot of issues with photo and videos permissions, a lot of issue with the handling of user data, whether it's about like privacy policy or permissions. Some minor issues with login credentials or broken functionalities, these are pretty self-explanatory. And some things related to misleading claims, deceptive ads, whether or not you run it on Google Ads or you run it from other other engines as well. I'm not gonna name names here, but and also like some better ads experience within the app as well. So let's just go through each and every one of them, right? Now, photo and videos permissions is something that we really kind of like, dig deeper and realize that this kind of like it is becoming kind of like a bigger issues, not just in Pakistan but globally as well. Now, as we all know, the photos and videos in the user's phone, they are considered as personal and sensitive data. So access to all of these permissions are limited. Now, if your app required like one-time or infrequent need of to access these files, you should actually go ahead and change your app to use a system picker, such as the thing called Android photo picker. Now, it means that you can, for these specific cases, you cannot require and request to use the read media images or read media video permissions. These are broader permissions that like normally previously before we had forced on this, you could actually use it. But right now we wanted you to move towards using Android photo picker instead. So a lot of questions around this case, right? But I'd say that like for the majority of the use cases, you can only request for read media images and read media videos if your app is like a gallery, for example, or if your app's like being used as a communication devices, like if your app is like a messenger kind of like apps, for example. And any apps that are outside of these kind of standard use cases, we suggest that you move to using a system picker instead. Now, next up is a privacy policy. Another requirement is that like you have to have this privacy policy displayed within your apps, within your Play Store, and within like your website as well. So all of the apps must have a privacy policy link with the designated field in the Play console. This link or text must be always visible and accessible all the time. It cannot be a PDF, it cannot be a geo-fenced URL, and it must be non-editable. So all of this stuff, you have to have like your developer information, a privacy point of contact or mechanism to submit inquiries for the users. You have to disclose all the types of personal and sensitive user data that your app access, collects and use and shares. And any parties of which any of these personal and sensitive user data are being shared. You gotta secure your data handling procedures for personal and sensitive user data, and you have to have like clear labeling of the privacy policy, such as like having a very clear title about privacy policy in the title. So any of the apps that don't have this requirement fulfilled will be immediately rejected. And sometimes we see a lot of these cases where you posted you host your privacy policy in an URL and you submit through and it all went well, but at a certain point in time the URL doesn't work anymore. So you gotta pay more attention on making sure that all of these URL must be accessible all the time, right? So some helpful tips. You must link the privacy policy on the App Store listing and also within your app as well. You want to make sure that this URL active applies to all your apps and specifically cover the user privacy as well. And the privacy policy must, together with any of the in-app disclosures, disclose how your apps collects and use and shares the user data, including the types of parties of whom that you are going to share it with. If you don't if you don't really know how to proceed with this, you should actually consult with your own legal representative to advise you on how to proceed with this. Right. So if you can see in this photo example right here, this is actually like taken from our Google Maps app. So as you can see here, we prominently display the privacy policy in the app and also on the store listing as well. Yeah. Another thing that we noticed that there's kind of like a trend of like having policy violations these days regarding SDK. So we know that app developer often rely on having third-party codes, utilizing SDK to be a part of their app development journey. It is important to note that it is actually the developer's responsibility to ensure that all of these NDK that they are using are compliant. So before you integrate an SDK within your app, you're going to make sure that what are the permissions that these SDKs are using, right? What data it collects and how they are collecting it and why would they require these permissions. Gotta make sure that you accurately declare all of these data requests in your data safety form. And even if you don't use a particular function within an SDK, you got to make sure that you are responsible for all of this data collection behavior, and you got to understand the policy relating to when you can and cannot extend the use of user data you have collected. So, for example, if your app use a device location, you must inform the end user through the prominent disclosure. You got to display it within your app, and consent requirement. You ask them if they allow you to collect this precise location data inside your app, and make sure that they know that you are sharing this data with a third party and with an SDK. And of course, you got to stay up to date with all of the policy updates to make sure that the SDK that you're using are compliant with all of the play policies. Make sure that you equip yourself with updates to the device and network abuse policy, ads policy, user data policy, and all of the persistent identifiers. And when you use a new SDK, right, ensure that your apps remain compliant with all of the other play policies as well. More importantly, do not sell personal or sensitive user information online or anywhere else. And you can learn more about registered SDKs on the Google Play SDK Index. We would actually recommend you to use the SDK that are actually already on our Google Play SDK Index to make sure that your apps are safe within this run. Okay, next up, these are more common violations regarding to ads that are showing within the app itself. So one of the example that if your apps itself within your in-app experience, you should not have kind of like an ads placement that mimic a system notification over here. So in this example, the notification appears to originate from an Android system. But it's actually kind of like an ad, right? So this is not allowed on play policy under deceptive ads. Inappropriate ads. So what are these? These are basically ads that have offers or showing some details or content that are not related to and not consistent with the ad rating. So for example, if you look at some of these this photo over here, the first ad on the left is kind of like a gun shooting game, which is more suitable for teens and above. But it is inappropriate for the intended kind of like audience of this app. This app is currently rated as everyone, so this is a no-go. The second is kind of like an ad on the kind of like an adult game, which is more suitable for mature users. But it is inappropriate for kind of like the audience of this app, which is rated as teen. And for the last example, the app itself is rated as everyone, but the ad that promotes within the game is rated as mature, which is also a no-go. So you got to make sure that whatever ads that show up within your app We're going to make sure that these age ratings are actually aligned, right? Okay, better ads experience. These are actually quite basic, but we still see a lot of these happens from time to time in terms of policy violations for developers. Full screen interstitial ads of all formats that show up unexpectedly when the users is trying to do something else, for example. This is a no-go, right? So for example, the one over here, kind of like it's pretty unexpected, right? I'm just playing a game, right? And how come there's kind of like an ad showing up? So you got to make sure that this ad doesn't appear when the user is just start a new gameplay, for example. That's probably not a good experience to have, right? And another example over here is that like we have this unexpected video ad that appears when the users just start clicking on viewing an article. This is kind of like also not allowed. So one of the way that I've always been trying to describe to the developers that I met with was basically when you have developed your app, you got to make sure that when you use it, right, you don't really get annoyed with all of your ads that show up, right? So you got to make sure that when you use it, you are fine with that. Then the user should feel the same as well. Another example over here is like when they're the ads just appears like during the gameplay and doesn't offer a user to have an option to skip within the 15 seconds. So this is also not allowed. Yeah. Okay, let me just quickly talk about multiple warnings and rejections. So as I shared with you before, any combination of like having multiple rejections or warning will eventually leads to a violation. A lot of violations would actually leads to app suspensions, even for minor violations. So what you should do is actually try to like whenever that you got an app rejected on the Play Store, like any submissions, or you got like a warning, for example, we will send you a warning email, and also we will display some kind of like notification on your Play console. So you're gonna make sure that you read your rejection email and the notification carefully. You got to review your usage of SDK and permissions. If you don't know what to do, you can always reach out to your account manager at Google, or you can just file an appeal directly with Google Play if you don't agree with the decision. And please don't send in multiple submission in a row without addressing the issues, because like you just keep on adding up, and then eventually you reach a threshold and your apps can be suspended. So please don't do that. Yeah. Okay, so those are minor violations. So how about major egregious violations? These are actually very, very kind of like easy to spot, right? And I hope that you don't really got caught into some of these violations. Things like deceptive behavior, things like privacy deceptions or device abuse, malware, all of these dangerous downloads kind of issues. Nudity, sexual content is no. IP copyright violation is also kind of like a no. I will talk a little bit more on the IP copyright violation afterwards. But on the deceptive behavior, right, you're gonna make sure that like your apps should provide whatever that you promise with the users, and all of this functionality that you wanna display to the users can actually use it, and it's not deceptive in any way or another. Like for example, if you have an app that generate kind of like um, ID cards or like social security numbers, this kind of stuff, which is like also pretty deceptive in a way. So those are no. Or for example, this one is like breath analyzer, this kind of stuff, which is technically impossible, right? So please don't do this kind of like, please don't go ahead and develop these kind of apps, because it's very likely that it's going to be listed as deceptive behavior, and you will very likely be suspended in the grand scheme of like play policy things. Now I want to touch on copyright and IP violations. Google, we receive a lot of questions, right? Like why would Google actually just go ahead and remove our apps when there's a copyright violations? Now, the reason for this is because Google are required by law to actually remove copyright and IP infringement materials when we are informed by the legitimate right owner. So the details, all of these details can be found in the email that we sent by the Play team when you receive this. So you got to the way that we navigate around this issue is that you got to make sure that you have full distribution rights for your apps and games even before your app, so your first app submissions. This includes all of the visual assets that you have in your app, as well as the sound as well. And if you're developing the games, the gameplay as well. Just want to make sure that you cover all grounds. If you are authorized to distribute the content by the original content owner, you got to provide us with a written document in advance so that your app is not going to be rejected. You can find more details in this QR code in the screen here. Just scan through and submit it over there for us. And if you're in doubt, if you're ever in doubt that whether or not you're in violation of these copyright or IP violations, you should actually speak to a lawyer or a legal consult specialized in copyright and IP in your country that you want to publish your app with. So just going to make sure that on the legal basis you're all covered, and that should be good to go. Right, so that's all the violations. Now, let me just very quickly talk about account ban. I know that there's a few other issues that we mentioned about account bans, like multiple strike. We have like egregious policy violations and also high risk behavior as well. So what is what happens? Like, why would an account got banned? Right, it can either be from multiple strikes, or it can be from a single one very, very major egregious policy violations. So example over here that you can see on the left-hand side over here, multiple strikes, like for example, if you have an app A over here and you got like 3 disruptive acts rejections or warning, for example, that could potentially lead into an app A being suspended because of disruptive acts. And if you have 3 of the apps, app A, B, and C also got suspended within the same account, it's very likely that this developer account is going to be banned. So all I'm trying to say is that if you have a policy violations, if you have any rejection or any warning, you got to make sure you got to fix that before you go ahead and try to do anything else. Because if you can just leave it there, you think that's fine, it will eventually counts into the whole system. And if you can't really control all of this altogether, then it's very likely that your developer account is going to be banned. Now let's just move on to one single egregious policy violation that I wish that will never happen to any of you, but I hope that your app will not distribute any malware or any charge. You don't have any policy violation with regards to child safety, for example, or any ad frauds that we found, because if so, then the app is going to be suspended, and for sure the developer account is going to be suspended at the same time as well. And there's no way that we can appeal for these decisions too. Yeah. Now that's kind of like a outlook of how what happened when an account got banned. Specifically on the high risk developer account ban, there are actually internal factors and there are external factors as well. When we go ahead and we ban an account due to high risk behavior, the internal factors are whatever that we've just talked about earlier on today. It's just the same inverse pyramid with multiple rejections, app warning, removal, suspension, and account bans because of multiple strikes or egregious violations. And there are other actors that our team actually have a look at when we make a decision whether or not we want to ban the account based on high risk behavior. Things such as related accounts, right? If you have this same account that got banned before, these like bad actors are trying to create multiple other accounts that's running the same scheme. They're gonna try to cache all of those and try to ban them all at once. And all of the other accounts and app activities, or we can also base it on like the user review as well. If the user are flagging to us saying that like, hey, we saw an ad, we click on this ad, and we download this app, and it's completely different from the ad that we saw. This kind of stuff, which can eventually lead to an app and account suspended as well. So you want to make sure that you cover all grounds, make sure that all of the policy violations, you take care of all of that, and make sure not to touch on all of these deceptive behavior, so that your accounts is safe and sound with regards to policy. Okay, next up is a helpful resources and key dates. I really wanted to give you a heads up of our play policy updates for 2026, but sadly we don't really have it for now. So I'm just gonna have a placeholder for 2025. But regardless, every year we have at least 3 bundles to keep up with the ongoing industry trends and needs. And every time we have a policy update, we'll have an announcement. We have a policy bites, kind of like policy bites video, so that you can have a look at it. And then 2 weeks after that, you get an invitation to join us with a policy webinar as well. Every year we'll do this kind of stuff, and you for sure receive our email notification when the webinar happen. And if you want to know more about the new policy updates, or new updates about the latest play policies, kind of like updates on certain policies, you can go through to our Policy Bites YouTube channel, where you can have a look at all of the updates that we listed out every year for you. And also we hosted all of these policy webinars in our own policy like YouTube channels as well, so you can have a look as well. We have like localization for multiple countries too. Yeah, last but not least, we have a few certain key resources over here. We have Policy Center, Play Academy, the Play Console Help, Policy Bites and Developer Newsletter, and of course the Play policy updates on Android and Google Play. Yeah, I really hope that all of the sharing today is going to be helpful for you. And I just want to do a very quick time check to see if I can answer a question or two. If not, then we'll just collect all of these questions and we'll take it offline. Shri.
Yeah, so thank you, Andrex, for very insightful sessions. I think I also personally learned a lot from your sharing as well. I think we still can spare like 2-3 minutes to answer some burning questions, because I think play is always a very big topic. Yeah, and you see which questions are relevant and able to address live.
Right. So I've seen a few questions on the Q&A thread over here. Probably I'm just going to go from Otis first. Let's just cap it for like 2-3 minutes. So there are a few questions about use SDK in apps and for specific functionality, and we don't know if this SDK has previously have violations. So this is where we always advise you to go to Google Play SDK index and use the SDK that are available over there, because those are the ones that are actually pretty kind of like well known, and those are pretty safe to use. So make sure to use that. Now, if you use any other SDK, we are not entirely sure about their safety. So you want to make sure that you use the right SDK, but ultimately it's going to be your responsibility to know the SDK that you're working with, the partner that you're working with, and make sure that they are not doing some funny businesses, right? Okay, next up, I think I have there are a few questions about Google Play console payment profile, which is actually not within the scope of our Google Play policy team. So I'd say that like for this question, I would address you to work out with the Play help team You can just, go to console and, send a ticket over there so that someone from the Play Console team can have a look at that for you. Multiple app rejection permanently count as against a developer account. So the idea is that if you have we don't want you to get 3 rejection in a row for an app. If you get a 3 rejection in a row, which means that there's a high probability that your app is going to be suspended. So you got to make sure that you don't get caught within these 3 rejection in a row. Okay. So if an app is reinstated after a copyright violation is resolved, how long does the strike remain on the developer account? So if the app is reinstated after a copyright violation is resolved, this is considered as issues resolved, and it's not considered as a strike. But if your app is still suspended because of copyright in the same developer account, that is counted as a strike. And try not to get to the 3 strike, okay? And also, if a different violation occurs 1 year later, it will be treated as a repeat offense. Please don't go to the repeat offense. The idea is that you got to make sure that you don't get any violation at all. Okay. I think due to the interest of time, probably I should pass it over to Saul, because I think we are a little bit over time.
Just before Saud, you say, I just want to say thank you so much, Jack. And मैं जितने लोग ऑनलाइन ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारे लोग मैसेज भी कर रहे हैं कि हमने आना है, लिंक भेज दे. तो ये पहले रजिस्टर करना था, और जिन्होंने रजिस्टर किया वो आ गए. पर अगर आपके इर्द गिर्द लोगों को भी यही इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए तो शेयर करें. ये बहुत ज्यादा वैल्यूएबल इनसाइट्स हैं. ज्यादातर आप लोगों के जो सवालात गूगल में किसी से भी होते हैं या हमसे होते हैं, वो इसी हवाले से होते हैं जिस पे भी आपने सब कुछ सुना है. तो आई थिंक दिस वाज वन ऑफ द मोर प्रेसिंग इश्यूज. और जो अगला प्रेसिंग इशू है वो भी साउथ बात करेंगे. I'll beg leave, but I think this is a great session. I want you all to make the most out of it. Once again, this is not the end of it. This is the start of it, and much more to come. आपके जो क्वेश्चंस हैं, आपके जो फीडबैक एंड में आप फॉर्म पे देंगे, वो बहुत जरूरी है. स्टिक टिल द एंड. देयर इज समथिंग ऑब्वियसली वेरी एक्साइटिंग जो आप कहते हैं ना कि हमें मैनेज कोई करे गूगल से, उस हवाले से यू विल सी समथिंग देयर. आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट, एंड दिस इज फॉर पाकिस्तान. सो let's make sure that we put out the best and the best of the examples and growth from this country as well. All the best to you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fasi. Thank you, Jack. Over to you, Sal.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Fasi. Jack, thank you so much for answering a lot of those questions that I get asked pretty much every day. So thank you so much for taking all of those upfront. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Saud. For those of you who have not met me, I look after everything AdMob, and I manage Pakistan. Lekin Pakistan ke saath saath, I manage all of the other Southeast Asian countries as well, including Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, all of the emerging markets. But Pakistan, particularly, I care a lot about. उसकी एक वजह ये है कि मैं खुद पाकिस्तान से हूँ, और दूसरी वजह ये है कि I see a huge potential within the country. हमारी सारी young population है, jobs नहीं है, और इस सारे ambit में ये जो पूरा एक एक developer ecosystem है, this gives us a way of earning forex. So we're helping ourselves, but we're also helping the country as well by bringing in a lot of that forex into the country. With that being said, I do speak to a lot of you about a lot of issues, but today I want to talk about ad monetization type. Trin, I'm still seeing the same slides. Are you seeing the next slides loaded up, or what's going on?
Yeah, the slides moving.
It's delayed. Okay. So खैर, जिस चीज के बारे में मैंने आपसे बात करनी है, I won't drag it. I want to keep it super short, super precise, before Trin can deliver her content. I want to talk about something जो कि recently I was speaking to a few game developers, app developers, and it keeps coming up. एक myth है कि IAP is the only way to make money. It's actually not. मैंने आपके बाद आज जिससे बात करनी है, I want to talk about more sustainable business, which is the hybrid monetization. Now, what is hybrid monetization? Before I talk about hybrid monetization, I always say this: your success story starts from knowing your users and customers really well. I am a numbers guy. Before joining Google or ये monetization वाली side, I have been an advertiser all my life. हमारे bosses तो हमसे बात ही नहीं करते थे जो एक whims या assumption की basis पे होती थी. They said, what are the numbers saying? So usually होता ये है कि numbers के अंदर ही सारे आपके questions के answers भी छुपे होते हैं. Now, before I talk about hybrid monetization, if you know your users really well, तो आपको ये पता होगा कि if you move from a tiered approach, जो आपके talk about IAP, जो लोग actual app के ऊपर आके पैसे spend करके pay करके आपसे services लेते हैं, वो सिर्फ top 5% होते हैं. और mostly होता ये है कि if you are concentrating all your efforts on those top 5% developers, top 5% users, you're not building a sustainable business. So मेरा सवाल ये होता है कि yes, you think that IAP is good, and IAP is good. Yes, it protects user experiences, but what about those 95% of other users जो के cannot pay? मैं भी एक research पढ़ रहा था, उसके ऊपर जो most games हैं, people who play them are an age bracket that is not very tech savvy. उसमें काफी परसेंटेज हमारी ग्रैनीज और दादाबू और दादी अम्मी और अम्मा भी हैं जो कि अब उनको फोन चलाना आता है और वो गेम्स खेलते हैं, तो वो तो पे ही नहीं कर सकते. उनका क्या करें, राइट? कुछ लोग जो कर सकते हैं, they've never paid before, उनके पास कार्ड नहीं है, क्रेडिट कार्ड नहीं है, a lot of those reasons, right? So what happens then is, this is where comes the hybrid monetization. By the way, ये आपके जो messages आ रहे हैं, मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि अगर तुम्हारे पास end पे time हुआ तो I'll take them. Otherwise, what I'll do is कि मैं chat के अंदर आपके answers वो दूंगा. I love speaking about AdMob. I love speaking to all of you guys. तो वो I'll stay back and मैं chat के अंदर काफी I'll respond. अच्छा, hybrid monetization. It's actually a stable, like I said, sustainable, stable revenue model, at diversification of your, revenue model. So essentially, इसका एक ही goal है, you're increasing your average revenue per daily active users. और वो कैसे होता है, उसका एक छोटा सा formula वो मैंने बनाया एक. So अच्छा, ये look at your left side. This is a contribution when you adopt the hybrid monetization. So you have the IAP. Let's assume कि उसका 5 cents है ECPM. Let's say कि जो दूसरा आप when you add your in-app ads, अच्छा ये typical benchmark है. I'm not saying कि this should apply to your app. It could be completely different for your app, but वही बात है कि look into your own numbers, know your numbers really well. But अगर आप मेरा modeled version देखें, so you're looking at roughly about 20 to 40% revenue uplift on top of your current revenue. If you integrate everything well and adopt this hybrid monetization really well, and when I say really well, I'll tell you what I mean by really well, because knee jerk reaction ये है कि बस ads लगा दिए, और वो इतने लगा दिए कि जो users थे, वो जो IAP वाले users थे, वो भी चले गए, क्योंकि इतने ज्यादा ads आ गए, वो उनको भी आपने churn कर दिया कि यार ये तो बहुत ही ads आ गए. और फिर जिस तरह जैक अभी explain कर रहा था, there is a lot of disruptive ads policy, more ads than content wali policy kicks in. So you have to be very careful, and you have to think of how do you integrate ads within your experiences. So वही बात है कि हाँ, ads बहुत अच्छी चीज है, but how can you make ads work effectively for you in your app without getting violations? मैंने rewarded video ads या rewarded ads की एक एग्जांपल इसलिए लिया है कि मुझे ये मेरा फेवरेट एड फॉर्मेट है, and I think it integrates very well with IAP की स्ट्रैटेजी. उसकी वजह क्या है? एक तो इसका CPM बहुत हाई है और इसकी रिटेंशन भी है, so developers के लिए it's a win-win situation. और दूसरी चीज, this is probably the only ad format where user is ऑप्टिंग इन, वो खुद कह रहा है हाँ मुझे ऐड, हाँ मुझे देखना है, वो खुद क्लिक करता है और वो ऐड देखता है और वो स्टिक थ्रू करता है। मुझे ये लगता है कि अगर आप YouTube के ऊपर भी एड्स देखते हैं तो यू वांट जस्ट वांट गेट टुवर्ड्स द वीडियो, आप जैसे ही स्किप का बटन है फौरन से स्किप किया। ये एक वाहिद फॉर्मेट है जिसके ऊपर आप 30 सेकंड की वीडियो भी दिखाएं तो यूजर बैठा देखता रहता है। उसकी वजह क्या है कि यू आर डिलीवरिंग वैल्यू लिटरली उसके बाद। सो देयर इज अ वैल्यू दैट यू डिलीवरिंग वंस द यूजर गोज थ्रू दैट रिवॉर्डेड जर्नी, रिवॉर्डेड वीडियो एड्स की एक्सपीरियंस, व्हिच मेक्स जो यूजर्स उनको देख रहे हैं, व्हिच मेक्स देम एंगेजिंग यूजर्स। अब होता क्या है, गूगल इज एन इकोसिस्टम। जब आप इस तरह के यूजर्स बनाएंगे, मैंने जिस तरह भी बताया कि मेरे पिछली लाइफ में आई हैव बीन एन एडवर्टाइजर। अब जब अपनी ऑडियंसेस चूज करते हैं एडवर्टाइजर, बीइंग एन एडवर्टाइजर, तो यू वांट मोस्ट इंगेज्ड यूजर्स, जो कि आप जैसे ही आप उनको ऐड दिखाएं विदाउट गेटिंग अ फ्रीक्वेंसी टू हाई वो इंटरेक्ट करें और उस पर वो एक्शन लें। आप देख रहे हैं ये पूरा फ्लाई व्हील बन रहा है। डेवलपर्स का फायदा, यूजर्स का एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा और उनको वैल्यू मिल रही है, एंड इमीडिएटली जो एडवर्टाइजर्स हैं वो भी फिर आप जैसे यूजर्स, जिस तरह के आपकी ऐप पे यूजर्स हैं, उनको एड्स दिखाना चाहते हैं। सो नाउ घूम के इट्स कमिंग बैक टू यू बिकॉज आपके पास है वो एंगेजिंग यूजर्स, यू गेटिंग मोर रिक्वेस्ट, यू गेटिंग मोर, आपका मैच रेट इंप्रूव होगा, आपको हाई सीपीएम एड्स मिलना शुरू हो जाएंगे। सो इट्स एक्चुअली ए सर्कल। हाँ, सो इसकी ये सिंपल सी एक एग्जांपल है, और ये इट्स अ ग्रेट वे टू इंक्रीज योर एंगेजमेंट इज वेल। मैंने एक पूरी स्टडी रिसेंटली पढ़ी थी, एक्चुअली मुझे उसको यहाँ पे इंक्लूड करना चाहिए था, बट मैं आई विल गेट दैट स्टडी ओवर टू यू। एक एक बंदे ने बहुत ही अच्छी गेम बना दी, और वो इतनी जबरदस्त गेम थी कि वो खेल ही नहीं पाया कोई। तो इट एक्चुअली गिव्स यू एंजाइटी एज वेल कि यार वो अब आपकी लाइफ्स खत्म हो गई हैं, हाउ डू यू गेट पास्ट। कुछ कुछ गेम्स होती हैं बाय द वे जो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाती हैं। क्यों? अब वो अपने डेवलपर ने अपने माइंड से वो गेम बहुत ही अच्छी बनाई है और बहुत उसमें चैलेंजिंग वो डाला, बट देयर इज अ होल साइकोलॉजी बिहाइंड इट कि जो गेम आप खेल रहे हैं, स्पेशली फॉर कैजुअल गेमर्स, वो इतना भी डिफिकल्ट जर्नी नहीं हो कि वो यूजर्स जो है वो कहें यार ये मेरे से तो क्रैक ही नहीं हो रहा, तो वो चले ही जाए, वो खेलना ही बंद कर दें। एक तरीका उसका ये कि यू बाय लाइव्स, दैट्स कॉल्ड द आईएपी। लेकिन हमने क्योंकि पहले देखा नॉट एवरीवन इज गोना buy lives or do in-app purchases, or if you have a utility app, no one's going to buy your premium experiences. This is where rewarded ads come in. आप उसको दिखाएं और यूजर्स ऑप्ट करके वो देखेंगे और उनको लाइव्स मिल जाएंगी, सो वैल्यू भी वहीं पे मिल रही है, आपकी गेम भी इंगेज्ड रहेगी, पीपल विल कीप कमिंग बैक। और अगर उनके पास लाइव्स खत्म भी हो जाती हैं बिकॉज वो बहुत ज्यादा गेम खेल रहे हैं, बहुत ज्यादा आपके ऐप से इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हैं, तो यू स्टिल हैव अ वे टू मोनेटाइज देम एंड गेट देम बैक within the app or within the game. So it's a, then again it's a flywheel. उसको जिस तरीके से आप, मैं सिर्फ आपको विजन दे इसको, there are so many ways जो कि शायद मैंने भी नहीं सोची, गूगल ने भी नहीं सोची. You can come up with your own ways of how you use this flywheel and keep getting your customers back into the game. ये एक एग्जांपल थी जैम सिटी की, there are so many other examples. मैं अक्सर शेयर करता रहता हूँ आप लोगों के साथ, अभी भी करता रहूंगा. When they adopted a mix of IAP and in-app ads, they were able to grow their overall business ka revenue about 25%. Let's move on. अब अगर ये आगे जाए तो हाँ, so once before you're designing this rewarded ads की journey, so there's a whole trifecta you have to keep in mind. एक जिस तरह मैंने बात किया कि फर्स्ट वैल्यू क्लियर है, अगर आप किसी को कह रहे हैं कि ये मेरा ऐड देख लो, तो उसको क्या पता है कि उसको मिलेगा क्या इसके ऐड देखने के बाद. सो दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू डिजाइन विद इन द एक्सपीरियंस. और दूसरा, आई हैव सीन देन अगेन ये सारी वो यूएक्स और यूआई, और अगर आप उसमें डिजाइन में चले जाएं तो यहाँ पे आपको ये सारे आंसर्स मिलना शुरू हो जाएंगे. इज द प्रॉम्प्ट डिस्कवरेबल? अब एक तरीका होता है कि आपने बड़ी खूबसूरती से प्रॉम्प्ट भी लिखा, सब कुछ ठीक कर लिया, बट इज द प्रॉम्प्ट फाइंडिंग द यूजर, या यूजर को प्रॉम्प्ट ढूंढना पड़ रहा है कि यार ये कहाँ पे मैं क्लिक करूंगा तो वो क्लिक करूं करके मुझे वो लाइफ मिलेगी और मैं वीडियो देख रहा हूं, ओके वाचिंग 2 videos 3 videos डाटा. और then again, the whole experience then has to be sticky कि वो users को भगा ही ना दे. पोस्ट परचेज एक्सपीरियंस उसका जो है उसको वैल्यू मिल रही है, वो कितना डिलाइटफुल है कि उसको एक्चुअल रियल वैल्यू फील भी हो कि हाँ यार मैंने वीडियो देखी थी, ये मुझे लाइफ मिल गई है. सो नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन द यूजर रन्स आउट ऑफ लाइव्स, या यू नो इफ यू आर यूटिलिटी ऐप, तो आपका जो प्रीमियम एक्सपीरियंस है, इफ द यूजर, देयर आर सो मेनी वेज ऑफ इंटीग्रेटिंग रिवॉर्डेड एड्स, राइट. 10 मिनट के लिए किसी को आपने अपनी ऐप की प्रीमियम एक्सेस दे दी. फॉर एआई एप्स, जो लोग एआई एप्स बना रहे हैं, एआई के फीचर्स अनलॉक कर दिया आपने कि आप ये वीडियो देखें 5 मिनट के लिए एक्सेस ले लें. तो ये सारा जो इस एक्सपीरियंस के अंदर, देयर आर सो मेनी वेज यू कैन यूज रिवॉर्डेड एड्स, राइट. सो इसके अंदर वो जब आप ये सारा डिलीवर करेंगे, यू जस्ट वांट टू मेक श्योर कि ये पूरा रिवॉर्डेड ट्रिफेक्टा जो है, यू आर गेटिंग इनटू साइकोलॉजी. दिस इज मोर टू डू विद साइकोलॉजी देन नंबर्स हियर. बट इस साइकोलॉजी को डिक्टेट नंबर्स करेंगे और इसको फिर मेजर भी नंबर्स ही करेंगे. बिफोर I move on to my favorite part, जिस तरह मैंने बोला कि you know, staying closer to numbers, and I believe what gets measured gets done. Can I get a thumbs up if you guys are with me, or अभी तक सो नहीं गए? Okay, 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 okay. I need more. There are almost 116 of you guys. I want a thumbs up from everyone before I move on. Sorry, Trent. It almost became monotonous for me as well because I'm in a room, so it kind of felt like I'm talking to a wall. So I need this before I can move on. Are we good on the time, Trent? Time check. Time check.
Yes, we good. I mean, you can, after this, you can also answer some live questions too. Yeah.
Okay. What gets measured gets done. These are just some of the drivers of your ad revenue. I'm sure if you are already in the journey, आप लोग ये रोज track कर रहे होंगे, active users, ad users, impressions, earnings, eCPM, impression. So I mean, these are just some of the numbers, some of the metrics that you look at. What I want to talk about is those two analytics. Actually, Firebase is a lot more than analytics, but it actually helps you measure your key performance indicators. Let's look at AdMob. जो सारे metrics आपको देखने चाहिए वो आपको AdMob deliver करता है front end पे. So आपको कहीं नहीं जाना, आप डैशबोर्ड के अंदर लॉगिन करेंगे, जो सारे जरूरी metrics हैं वो सारे आपको फ्रंट एंड पे मिल जाएंगे. और ये जो लेफ्ट साइड वाली है तब मिलेगी जब आपने फायरबेस इंटीग्रेट किया होगा अपनी ऐप के साथ. अब ये वाला पोर्टल है जहां पे देयर आर सो मेनी कट्स अवेलेबल, इतने तरीके से, एंड इसके अंदर विजुअलाइजेशन भी सारी आपको मिलती है. बट ये इतनी तरह की रिपोर्ट्स आप बना सकते हैं, इतनी ज्यादा ग्रैनुलैरिटी में आप जा सकते हैं इस डैशबोर्ड पे. मुझे सवाल ये होता है कि नॉट एवरीवन goes into this dashboard. You guys just rely on what's being delivered on the front end. Raise, then again, thumbs up, and who actually uses this dashboard to the T. और मैं वो granularity की बात कर रहा हूँ. So for example, मुझे किसी ने सवाल पूछा, यार वो मेरा eCPM कम आ रहा है. वो eCPM कम आ रहा है, it's a very generic question. कहाँ कम आ रहा है, किस कंट्री में कम आ रहा है, किस एड यूनिट पे कम आ रहा है. देयर इज सो मच ग्रैनुलैरिटी दैट यू कैन कीप गोइंग इन. और यूजुअली होता है ये कि आप, मेरे पास जो सवाल आते हैं वो होते हैं इस डैशबोर्ड में. सो अगर आपने अभी तक नहीं भी यूज किया, आई वुड इनकरेज कि दिस शुड बी योर, सुबह सुबह मॉर्निंग कॉफी के साथ मैं ईमेल्स पढ़ता हूँ, सुबह सुबह चाय पिए, कॉफी पिए, तो ये तब की एक्टिविटी होनी चाहिए. एवरी डे यू डेडिकेट 15 मिनट्स, रोज आए, रोज इसको खोलें, यू स्टार्ट डूइंग दिस. और फिर इसके अंदर इतनी ग्रैनुलैरिटी है कि रोज आपने, आई डोंट नो हाउ क्रेजी आर यू अबाउट नंबर्स. Sorry, what about AdMob waterfall mediation? When will Google launch this? Google launched this years ago. Sorry, I know I said I'll take questions at the end, but it has sparked my interest. So then again, what I said, every day when you come in, every day start looking into this dashboard. If this dashboard becomes your home, जिस तरह Instagram खोलें तो उसका एक home है, right? If this dashboard becomes your home, there is so much that you can do with this. You can keep diving in, keep going into every form of granularity. Mostly I get मैं कभी कुछ ऐसे भी यूजर्स हैं जिनके पास मैं जाता हूँ, मुझे बताते हैं कि नहीं ये मैंने ये देखा है, तो हाउ डू आई इम्प्रूव दिस। तो मैं उनको पूछता हूँ ये कहाँ से देखा, उन्होंने बोला मैंने अपने एडमॉब के डैशबोर्ड के अंदर देखा। तो मुझे भी नहीं पता होता कि वो रिपोर्ट्स आप इसके अंदर एक्चुअली बना सकते हो, पुल कर सकते हैं। सो दिस शुड बी योर होम। Now then, my favorite tool, then again, not that I'm at Google now. Like I said, I have been using Firebase over 10 years. It's my favorite tool. There is so much that you can do with Firebase. Obviously, there is cloud ki puri infrastructure uske andar hai. You can build your own DBs. I'm not a developer, by the way, but I worked with developers mostly on the MarTech side. So mujhe pata hai how it can be used for so many things. Raise your hands if you use Firebase to look at your Crashlytics. Good. Good. Okay. No, good. Sounds good. And then of course, there is so much that you can do with Firebase. I know it's becoming a Firebase session, but it's actually not. Because if you monetize your app, or if you have an app, Firebase then again gives you all of your analytics that you need. And my favorite feature within Firebase is remote config. This is where I can test new things. This is where my curiosity comes to play. A/B testing or जो भी मेरे दिमाग में रात को सोते वक्त कभी आ जाए. I've had apps, like I said, I have been an advertiser. So जो भी रात को सोते वक्त, or whenever you're thinking about of what you're going to do next, actually जब bosses आप पुश करें कि भाई कुछ नया लेके आओ, तो फिर वो नया कहाँ से लेके आते हैं आप, तो you test, you plan your experiments, you design your experiments. So I've done that using Firebase. I think it's a great way to design those experiments. You can define your control group, and then of course your expose group, or obviously you can come up with your own learnings. इतनी animations मैंने डाली नहीं थी, पता नहीं आई कहाँ से, by the way, so sorry. And then yes, I'm going back to the very first slide that I showed. Okay, know your customers really well. Most of your success journey will start from knowing your customers. If you know your customers really well, और अगर आप Firebase use कर रहे हैं, by the way, I'm not just talking about Firebase. There is a whole world of MMPs, mobile measurement platforms, Branch है, AppsFlyer है, Just है. By the way, now this is what I'm interested. Raise your hand if you're using an MMP. I should know you, by the way. So we have Rustam, we have Usama, Ilahi. You guys need to reach out to me. If you are using MMP and I don't know you, I'll take that upon myself. We should have been introduced ages ago. You guys need to reach out to me. Find me on LinkedIn, send me a message. I would love to speak to you. Just go on LinkedIn, find my name, South bin Yunus, and reach out to me. So we need to speak, because you are the one who I really need to speak to, because MMPs का पूरा topic, it's my passion area. अगर मुझे कभी PhD करनी हो, तो I think mobile measurement के अंदर I would like to do a PhD. I'm not planning to. I'm so done with academics. मुझे नहीं करना, कुछ नहीं पढ़ना, और but just saying कि अगर करनी हो, तो this is a passion area मैं जो कि I've kind of developed over time. But what I'm saying is, regardless if you're using an MMP or Firebase, creating your custom audiences, first knowing your audiences, which will come from knowing how to use these platforms like Firebase or MMPs or AppsFlyer or anything. You should create your custom audiences. There are set predefined custom audiences. For example, जिन्होंने पिछले 7 दिन, 14 दिन, 30 दिन में आपकी ऐप साथ इंटरेक्ट किया है, या आपकी ऐप पे, you can define a session duration. इसके अंदर भी कि for show me users, X number of users who have used the app for X number of time, build me a list. उनको जो आप एड्स दिखाना चाहेंगे वो completely different होगी. और यहीं से फिर अगर आप उसको हाइब्रिड मोनेटाइजेशन की बात करें, people who have not purchased, उनको कैसे आपने target करना है, किन ad से target करना है. You can do all sorts of things, so many interesting things. Like I said, audience templates भी हैं. You can also use predictive audiences. ये by the way मैंने अभी तक use नहीं किया, but it's a great way to kind of use AI, machine learning all at one place and use your predictive audiences to then customize ad experiences for all of these. And while we're building audiences, one of the most crucial pain points that I have with developers is custom events define करना. Raise your hands अगर आपने custom events भी define किए हुए, and then I will see have I spoken to you or not. Good. Because अगर आप custom audiences बनाना चाहते हैं, and if you really want to know your customers really well, so you need to go beyond what Google is giving, because Google ने default product बना दिया है. अब वो based on most apps है, not all apps है. You know your app pretty well, so you need to define your custom events, और उन custom events की basis पे build your audiences, and then understand your audiences. फिर decide करें किसको monetize करना है, किसको कैसे monetize करना है, किसको rewarded ad से monetize करना है, किसको ad A दिखाना है unit, किसको ad unit B दिखाना है. फिर उन दोनों, you get it, right? There's so much that you can do. I'm just going to summarize. I can go on and on and on. As people who know me know that I can go on and on and on, and I can talk. I love to talk about these products, but I would like to summarize now. Diversify revenue and keep your users engaged. Effective use of ads across several user touchpoints, which means do not bombard your users with ads. Think your users, think what they want, know your customers really well, and then design ad experiences accordingly. And then eventually, what gets measured gets done. Measure, test and measure, test and measure is the only way to grow. It's the only way to grow. Thank you, everyone. And I know, Trin, you are next. I would take a few questions, but I'm more, if you're okay, Trin, in the interest of time, you can actually go on. I will read questions from the Q&A and start answering them in chat, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I think you can answer some live questions and while I share my screen. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I am gonna stop sharing and I will go to the Q&A part. Okay. How to use this dashboard? I don't see this report on my AdMob account. Is it on? No, it is not. Sorry,
Yeah,
Trin, sorry, do you want me to answer live or in the chat?
I think you can answer live, like in 2-3 minutes, some of the questions, and then
Okay. Let me take a jab at it. Okay, cool. How to use this dashboard? I so don't see this report on my AdMob account. Is it only for Pro account? No, it's not for Pro account. This means that you've not used, you've not really gone into your AdMob dashboard. I encourage you to go there and use it. You'll see all kind of cuts and reports there. What about AdMob waterfall mediation? When Google will launch it? Google has launched it years ago. You should reach out to me. There are two, by the way. So there is one is AdMob waterfall mediation. The other is AdMob network waterfall. So I would like to speak to you, and then we can see if the one, by the way, so AdMob network waterfall is you only get this if you're whitelisted by someone at Google. So reach out to me. I would like to know which AdMob, which waterfall are you talking about? And then one is by default available. You can go on your dashboard. There is a mediation report. There's a mediation tab. You can go in there. You can start using it. You can start adding other sources, start adding waterfalls, The other is the AdMob network waterfall. For that, there's a certain criteria that you have to meet. If you do not qualify, you don't get whitelisted. But in order to find out if you qualify or not, you should speak to someone from Google. For South, this is anonymous. For Pakistan, so far, not a much on kids niche on AdMob support. Even support providers aren't much expert in the category. I'm not sure I understand your question, but I'm going to answer it as per my understanding. Not much on kids niche. There is actually. So I work with a few folks who actually develop apps and content for kids. And I'm not talking about YouTube for kids. I'm talking about content that is built. There are certain apps that get made for kids. We work with them. We do support them. Of course, there's a very thin line of how you monetize the whole experience. And this is where I think the whole IAP versus IAA and the better integration of rewarded ads, the whole thing comes. If I have not answered your question, find me on LinkedIn and we can get chatting. Trin, I will take a few more. How to reach? Yes, I've read it. Why we need more ad unit for each level? Is that affect the eCPM or ad revenue? What level? Each more ad unit for each level. You know what level? So you should have ad units. You set up ad units. Of course, there's you can decide between the same ads. You can set up an A/B test experiment. You can test as many as you can, and then of course you should scale the winning one. So yeah, are these ads created for AI-like video or something else? Is it worth it for advertising for Google Ads? Are these ads created for AI-like videos? No. If I've understood your question, I don't think it gets created for AI-like videos. By the way, yes, there's a whole ecosystem of AI-generated ads being displayed on your apps and on your properties. But Google is actually kind of very careful about these experiences unless we can curate them over a longer period. So we need to have a method to madness, essentially, and then eventually we'll open it up for generally. But then there needs to be moderation. There needs to be categorization. Unless that happens, we will not. Or generally, no, I don't think any exchange is comfortable with letting AI-like videos being displayed on everywhere, unless they're moderated. Some of the platforms have moderated, but mostly they have not. Trin, I think you can take. You can maybe start with your content. I see a few questions. I'll start answering them in chats.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sal. Very insightful session regarding hybrid monetizations and also the rules of thumb to optimize your app mob, which I think very crucial for all the app developer here, because even before talking about how to run ads, right, you have to know how to optimize your revenue. And before that, of course, your Google Play have to be strong enough and not like violate any Google policy. Before I start, really thank you everyone for taking your time. I know that it's not a short, webinar as usual. This is a very in-depth online summit that we provide for Pakistan market, but at the same time, we also get a lot of interest from other market in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Vietnam, name a few, and really appreciate your time. For those of you who hasn't known me yet, I'm Jin, and I'm the app growth manager managing Southeast Asia, Pakistan, and Australia and New Zealand. I've been in Pakistan last year for the first time and very excited to continue to support this market moving forward. We are about to celebrate Ramadan in the upcoming in this month, right? So that's why I think this will be a very timely topic for us to discuss how we can maximize the revenue and able to unlock more opportunity during this Ramadan season. No further ado, I'm gonna dive in the agenda today. So some of the opportunity for gaming and app, and then I'm gonna talk more about like how we optimize Google Play, and also sharing about creative, which I do believe very critical. For those who stay to the end, I'm definitely gonna share more of how you can keep in touch with our team and take advantage of our Google App Acceleration Program. All right. So even before we talk why we talk about how and why we running ads more in this Ramadan season, let's look back into 2025. So these are the insight about gaming. So we see the significant impact on both downloads and CBI for cross Muslim market during 2025 Ramadans. Some of the market, to name a few, like Pakistan, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, or India, have seen both the top, market top download increase. At the same time, a very good news that we're seeing the CBI decrease in these markets. So this is a very good signal for some of you who are launching your new app in this market during the Ramadan season. And then not talking about Sal also sharing about hybrid monetization, right? So for those of you who are doing hybrid gaming, then one of the very good insight that we had during Ramadan 2025 is that not only the volume increase, but also the in-app purchase revenue also increase as well. Some of the market that we see very positive increase during this Ramadan season, including like Turkey's, so I think we should take the most of this seasons, like for Pakistan, Indonesia market. Those are the market. If you are launching app or your game, you should watching very closely. Speaking about non-gaming, we also seeing some slight impact on download and CBI. Some of the market that we seeing very increasing in the download. Like we also have like Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, in India. At the same time, the CBI also decrease is like Indonesia, Egypt, India. So definitely take advantage if you are running non-gaming. Yeah. All right. And we also see the in-app revenue increase during Ramadan season in 2025 in some country like Egypt, Nigeria. So if you are launching your app in this market, definitely take advantage of the revenue increase during this season. All right, these are the market trends recapped. So overall, I see that we're seeing that games seeing more dramatic impact compared to non-apps gamings. So yeah, if you are doing gaming, this is a very good season to consider to launch your new titles. All right. You can also react, give a thumbs up if you are doing gaming, particularly sport games, trivia game, music game, puzzle game, family games. And very good news that we are seeing both app download increase as same as like the app revenue growth. So if you are doing these titles or plan to launch these title, this is a very good season. This is the breakdown, right? We're seeing for gaming, sport games, and puzzle games saw the most significant impact from 2025 Ramadans. Others, top CBI decrease, we also have like trivia, sport, casual, and drawing. And also we also see most new game launch like puzzle, casino, and strategy. Yeah. And also not only volume increase, but as I mentioned, right, the revenue, we also see positive revenue impact during 2025 Ramadan season, especially with trivia games where we see both total revenue at the same time, the average revenue per daily active user also increase significantly during this season. Give me a thumbs up if you are doing non-gaming. So non-gaming, we are seeing some of the genres that seeing the most impact, which is like network connectivity, TV, movies, photo editors, or system management. So these are the genres that, if you are planning to launch, this is also a very good season. And this is a breakdown of exactly what genres benefited the most from Ramadan download demands. I would say compared to gaming, non-gaming is it have like less, impact compared to gaming. But still some of the highlight, as I mentioned, we also have like music streaming. We also have VPN, TV, movies. These are also very like at the apps. We also saw the slight IAP revenue growth during Ramadan season. Yeah. All right. So these are the recaps, right? Overall, gaming doing very, very well in this Ramadan season, particularly sport, puzzle, music, samples, or trivia games. For non-gaming, system management, connectivity, shopping, TV, and movies. I know that not all of you are doing like utility, but also other type of app too. And if you are curious about those app, if they're having the growth demands during Ramadan, also let us know. All right. Like we talk a lot about how to grow with the Google Ads, etc. in previous webinar and previous event in Pakistan. But how to unlock more growth on Google Play? This, I think everyone should take advantage of this because it's free and it's organics, and I know that everyone loves organics. If you love organic traffic, give a heart, react a heart in this. Yeah, thank you. So when we mentioned about custom store listing, right, what we meant here is that through this custom store listing, it will help to improve your app conversion rate by tailoring your listing for specific country and user states. Right. Particularly, as I mentioned, some of the country doing very well during Ramadan. So we should prioritize those country, target those country where Ramadan is a major seasons, and also showcasing relevant Ramadan specific offers and feature content, and also categorize the message between new and returning user. Yeah. And when we talk about the store listing, which will include title, description, screenshots, and icon. Yeah. And when you localize across markets, right, these will be the best practices that you should bear in mind when you optimize your store listing. So we have title, description. Make sure that you include very relevant high traffic terms like iftar times, Ramadan recipe, or Eid gift, or Quran. At the same time, translate your entire store listing to the local languages. And also, like you bullet point and clear header, not only to describe, but also highlight what have changed in your apps, right? And also for the visualized part, icon and screenshot, these are also very important element that you need to optimize your app as well, like including your icons, which should be feature the graphic that related to Ramadan themes, right? Also localize your text in screenshot, because not all countries will be familiar with English. So for sure, using this feature to optimize, and also highlight the specific features that resonate with the local Ramadan traditions. Yeah. This is a very technical part. Many app developers actually ask me where to set up the custom store listing on the Google Play console. So yeah, this is just purely showing you where to set up that. And give me a plus if you are already plan to implement this store listing, or have a plan to do so. All right, yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah. All right. A lot of you have asked us about how to optimize creative during Ramadan season. And I think instead of going to the detail part, we want to give you some of the principle, how to capture the spirit of this Ramadan season and optimize for the highest engagement. So these are first of all, I want to mention of how to optimize Ramadan opportunity through authentically connecting through themes. And, so for those of you who are celebrating Ramadans or, targeted the country during Ramadans, a very popular theme during Ramadan, which is the togetherness. And we are having some of the creative here that from from Indonesia, from Saudi Arabia, and you see the idea is that showcasing that this is an opportunity for everyone to gather and celebrate all together. And the second theme that related to Ramadan is sharing kindness, gifting, faith, and blessing. So these are some of the example of how to like creating your video that can bring this sense of kindness, faith, and blessing. Yeah. All right. The second principle that we want to mention is that how to ensure resonance by tailoring your creative strategy to the regional nuances. I think the biggest two region that celebrate Ramadan is APAC, which representing country like Indonesia and Malaysia, and then we have EMEA. Some of the representative is like Saudi Arabia, UAE, or Egypt. We'll see the differences between the two regions when it comes to celebrate Ramadan, right? At the same time, what are some of the color, symbol, palettes, and fashion and food cues also related? So yeah, I mean, this is a very good insight for me when I researched and I learned about this. Very fascinating. Particularly for each market, right? We have Indonesia and Malaysia, where color palettes is often like lean toward like vibrant green and yellow. You can see in the photo here. And for key symbol, the ketupat, the wooden ham leaf rice cake is the one that representing also the oil lamp lights or the green packet. And for the fashion, we also like pattern traditional wear. And also some of the food cues, we also have like rice cake or buffet style. Yeah. But let's say if your markets is like leaning towards Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, then these are some of, it's a different kind of theme that you should use to have your end user feel like you are celebrating Ramadan with them, including like the color palettes, like often more like leaning toward to like deep blue, gold, or warm purple. Key symbol, the intricate lantern, we see a lot. The question moves that also a part, and the fashion also very different from the Malaysia and Indonesia region. And the food cue. So pay attention to the little detail because it meant a lot when you use their own language to speak to them. All right, so these are some of the creative showing the differences. Even we all celebrate Ramadan, but they little detail mean a lot and also create a lot like sense of belonging and relevances to your audience and your end user. Yeah. All right, I have shared this tool previously when I was in Pakistan, but I want to reshare it in this platform. Because I know that we are just a few weeks away from Ramadan, right? So definitely take advantage of Google AI tool, specifically the SS Studio. Raise your hand if you have been using this SS Studio. Yeah, and definitely continue to using this tool for the upcoming Ramadan season and for upcoming holidays. It will give you a lot of resources, very vibrant support, a lot of support to focus more on your product, polishing your app, polishing your game, and just not really just spend a lot of time on the creative. So definitely use this tool. Another thing that I want to mention, and Kelly can help me to share this tool via the chat, which is you can use this framework called CLAP. This including like context, location, audience, seasons, and purposes. So instead of spend a lot of time thinking of what is the idea for this upcoming events for Ramadan, right? This will be a very useful tool that you can use to come up with the event for for your games for the upcoming Ramadan. Similar for application or utility tools. This can be also a very good tool that you can use to apply into your you can use it to apply to your Play Store or the custom Play Store leading that I have mentioned earlier. Yeah, and feel free to make a copy of the file that have been shared in the chat. All right, and we actually go to the very last part. Many of you have mentioned of how we can continue to keep in touch and support you in like one-on-one sessions. So feel free to scan this QR code. Our team providing a program called Google App Acceleration Program. And this is a very high touch program where we help you with not only the resource about Google, but also like how to go to market, where our vertical industry benchmark, consulting on app monetization strategy, working closely with South team. Also, think of us as your second brain, or think of us as your consultancy team that work closely to help you launch your app and your game much faster to the market. You can also get very exclusive access to Google resources. Access Studio is a product that I had mentioned earlier that we, once it's launched, we definitely share with you. And then also this like training and learning session, these are the things that you can get the first-hand access. And for sure, for the part of campaign management and optimization, we also working very closely with you to optimize the campaign, sharing the creative access, and also troubleshooting. Make sure that you can get the most of the campaign with Google Ads when you are working with us. Yeah, I'll give you another 30 seconds to scan this QR code. Yeah. All right. Let's continue to the very last part of this today lesson. And before that, please scan this QR code and fill in the feedback form. Kelly, if you can help us to share this form via the chat. Your feedback will be super helpful for us to plan the next webinar or offline event, and like how we can continue to support you at a scale level, provide relevant content to help you to scale up. Yeah. All right. Make sure that you scan this QR code. It will mean a lot, not only to me, but also the whole and the entire organizer team. Plus, like everyone who are the speaker today. This is going to be very, very useful. All right, I'll just have a quick check on the Q&A part. I know most of the questions related to Google Play and AdMob have been shared by Jack and Sal. So I wasn't able to answer the question because those are in their domain. But I saw a question related to, will this presentation will be shared to us? Yes, we will share this presentation. Unfortunately, for the part related to Google Play, we weren't able to share. But we able to share the recording. All right, so okay, for those who still stay with us, let's continue the Q&A part that I have prepared. So a lot of you have sent some of the questions earlier, and we have summarized the questions that have similar theme. So the first topic, which is related to ROI and ROAS, and I also have my team here. So if there's anything that you want to chime in, feel free. Otherwise, I'll just go through some of the question and answer accordingly. Yeah. So a lot of questions related to ROAS and ROIs. So I will read out loud some of the questions. And if you feel resonated, also have a send the +1 reactions through the screen. So the question is like our ROI is being squeezed by rising acquisition costs that seem to increase every month. What specific level that can we pull to improve our return without simply cutting our budget? Why do our ROI fluctuate so significantly from day to day, even when we haven't made any changes to our campaign settings? Another question is also very similar. We noticed that our ROI become highly unstable as soon as we increase our daily budget. How can we scale our spending while keeping our return predictable? What is the framework for scaling Google Ads sustainably without causing massive fluctuation in daily ROI and profitability? Yeah, I know these are the questions. This is just represented questions. Basically, I think we have roughly 50 other people also send us similar questions. So, I mean, to go into detail and answer this, we will need to look into your Google Ads account, basically, or understand more about your product, understand what is your business model, etc. So I'm not able to go into detail, but whenever I see this pattern, right, or my clients come up to me with these questions, I think just take a step back and really think through or have a mindset of like, imagine that when you come to a doctor, right, be very curious, provide all the symptoms, right? Not only just saying, yeah, I didn't change anything and why it's fluctuated a lot or too much, right? Collect all the symptoms before you asking us, right? For example, why you don't change your setting in your campaign, or you don't change your app, but there any changes in seasonality, for example, like from the end of the month to the new month, right? End of the quarter to the new quarter. So these also very important element that is make it fluctuated. And also, second thing, right, I saw the question regarding why the acquisition costs, CBA increase. However, as you mentioned, right, you also focus more on the ROAS, right? So whether or not your ROAS is positive or not, is that more as a question rather than focus on the CBI or the CBA level, because it wouldn't be the right approach to think or to solve this puzzle, right? So think about, whether or not your ROAS is optimized or not. And let's say if you think through that, right, then and also knowing that ROAS or Google Ads is just more as a funnel to help you to acquire user, but whether or not users stay with your app or your game is also whether or not your game has been optimized to the level that the user engage and want to stay with your app and want to play with your apps even more, right? That's another way to think about it. And also, I think the business model also affect this ROAS a lot, right? If you only focus on ads, right? So it's a demand and supply. It will fluctuate it, even you don't change anything on your campaign. Let's say if the demand also slowing down, then your ROAS also going down. So I think that is more as like, and also how long you expect that your ROAS will be positive. I think this is also other few factors that you have to think through and analyze and go through and optimize accordingly, and not only focus on your ROAS or depend solely on the Google Ads to ensure 100% of ROAS or even more on the ROAS. Yeah. For specific answer or detailed answer, feel free to share with us your ads account for us to have a deeper analysis. I saw a lot of hands, like raising hands. Unfortunately, we weren't able to address because as a system setting of a webinar at the same time, I think we also prefer that you send the questions through the chat so that we can address all the questions as more like, efficient way. All right, one more questions regarding ad creative, and I think it's very relevant to other people. You can also give a plus if you also go into the similar pain point regarding ad creative. So the question is, how do we build a creative byline that keep us with ad fatigue without exhausting our design and production resources? And the second question is, what are the best practices for scaling creative across multiple markets while maintaining a consistent brand voice and high performance? I think it's a very good question. Actually, also more on the more like advanced or intermediate level, I would say, in terms of you optimizing your ads, right? These are the few framework that I use when it's come to ads creative. First of all, I think it's very important that in each ad group that you create, make sure that you add enough assets as Google recommended, including headline, images, video, to make sure that like Google, even like if you're doing game, then HTML files is also highly recommended. So make sure that you done the setting and the creative updates like as what we recommended. It's very important for Google to diversify our inventory, find the right user for you through multiple platform, multiple channel. So try that. I think the first step, very important step, that I see a lot of people that like try to cut through putting only either text or image or video, but not the other. That's the first step. The second one, right, like I also recommended to you ad group to team your assets. What does it mean? Like having, for example, what does it mean? Like, have full coverage of asset tie in each ad group, as I have mentioned in the previous slide. Second is that also have at least 2 ad group. Yeah. And instead of like evaluated every second day, evaluate and refresh the creative after the learning periods every 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah. 2 to 3 weeks, not 2 to 3 days. Okay. Yeah. And also have a team ad group with a consistent message, right? As I think it's also mentioned in AdMob and in Jack session regarding Google Play, like we scan through all of these messages through all of the ads that you start running your campaign. So make sure that it's consistent with what you are promoting your game or your apps. Yeah. And also very important to consolidate campaign to leverage historical learnings, which is what we recommend you to make sure that all these apps and gamings are up to date, and having all enough data to optimize, and not just like having a very shortcut to optimize your apps. All right. And as I mentioned, right, make sure that your ad group like are having set into different team. Right. You also mentioned about the brand consistency. So the question is, what is your brand, right? What is your brand to try to speak with your audiences or your end user? So I think that's the very first step. Define your brand. What do you want your end user think, or like when they think about you, what they can relate it to? Yeah. So even before thinking of the execution part, make sure that the strategic part and the brainstorming parts have been done thoroughly. Seasonal, that is, I think, very relevant to today's theme, which we're talking about Ramadan. So having a seasonal holiday kind of theme also very helpful. It's into how like pushing the growth in particular market during the holiday season. Having the promotion as well, I think these also very important, especially if you are doing IAB or you are doing game with hybrid model and offer a lot of subscriptions, then promotion also a thing that you want to think about, or you want to attract more user that are very sensitive about pricing or prone to promotion. And also etc. Right? Like not only brand seasonal, but also like product feature, like how the app is going to be useful for your end user. Yeah. All right. One last thing I want to mention about creative is that also measure your ad strengths for app campaign. Of course, what's having measure you will able to improve. So again, right, these are the tools that also put in the. You can view this in your Google Ads dashboard, particularly for your app campaign. So the ads strength score is one of the things that I do think it will be very useful thing for you to use. And the ads strength had 3 components: the overall rating ranging from incompetent to excellence. So aim to have like either good or excellent in your score. At the same time, we also provide the recommendation for you to take the actions and how to optimize your ads. And last but not least, again, adding various type of assets, including headline, description, images, and video. Yeah, so I think if you've done this part and keep improving your creative, learning from best practices, also using some tool to also spy other competitors, very obsessed with your end user, and also knowing what your apps or your game try to offer your audience, your end user. I think those are the key elements to drive to success in creative. Yeah. We are very good on time, everyone. And also, again, thank you so much for staying till this time. I will check through some other questions before we end our webinar. Let me change to the slide about feedback. So any of you who hasn't done the feedback form, please, this means a lot to us. So please share with us your feedback, and we definitely want to improve and provide more useful content for you. Let me check through the Q&A part. All right. Some of you asked about how to target Ramadan for sport categories. Usama, I think we can take it offline and provide you with more detailed answer. Feel free to ping us after this call. For promotional content in Google Console, there is no option to get it in my console. There any policy or something to activate that? Unfortunately, I'm not able to view on the your Google Console to provide this. I have to check more if there any policy regarding to activate that. But let us know what's your Google Play Console, and we can have a quick chat with the team. The AI advertising for Google Ad policy. I mean, generally, what we have in AI is that AI can be misleading, right? Like you also have to QA your advertising, your end result, and not just using anything that AI provides. I think that's the rules of thumbs. Misleading ads, or the ads that is not relevant to your content or your apps, or the ad that is potentially also using other famous people information, or famous image without having the consent or the agreement. So I think that also thing that you need to doing a quality check before you use any AI ads. Okay, another question. So I have scaling our campaign, but there's certain stop spending. we need to check your Google Ad account, Mobin in this case. Yeah, feel free to send me your Google Ad account after this. Yeah. Okay, another question from Bila. Why we are developing a Delver account in Pakistan sometimes ban when uploading game for the first time? I would say, you have to dig deeper on this. This is just a survey claims, and I don't think this will be the reason that we get banned. As long as the app is useful for the community, the app is that the app developer, the store seeing that it's useful for user, no policy related, I do believe that they will publish it. But I won't have a full context. I think is you have to like try and try with different account, or check the reason why that they banned the account after this. A similar question I will skip. Yeah. Okay, I think we go through most of the questions. Yeah, like my game's performance is going negative. What should I improve to positive again? Again, it's a lot of things that involve to have a positive result in your game, right? It's a product, it's marketing, it's monetization involved. So I would say have to continuously practice, optimize, implementing different strategy to make sure to make it positive. It's not like one time optimization. It's a lot of efforts, so it takes time at the same time. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Give a thumbs up if you already finished the feedback form. All right. Okay, thank you so much for everyone to dial in. I believe that we have go through most of the questions that have been asked. If you still want to, want to connect with us after this webinar, feel free to scan this QR code. I'll share this in and keep this live for the next 1-2 minutes. Other than that, thank you so much for dial in, and hope to see you in the next webinar, or working much closer with you after this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone.